Ooh, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing great as always. Today we have a cool one. I'm pretty excited to show this one off. I know it probably doesn't look like much right now. You're just being like, Kira, what are you talking about? There's a bunch of cubes. All right, well these cubes are cool. Um, we're gonna be talking about them first, and then we're also gonna be talking about this gravity gun and this repulsor gun. But first things first, we're going to be talking about gravity fields, and then we're going to be talking about our weapons. So these big cubes are our gravity fields, and normally, like our audio fields, you would have them invisible. So your mesh renderer is turned off, or you have some kind of example material or example model here. The cube is more of just a placeholder to hold the script. So you can put the script on anything. But that's why it doesn't look fancy. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about gravity zones. So, these are zones where the default gravity is different. This is the easiest way to put it. We have a lot of different ways they can be different. So, we're going to take a look at those first. I know normally I do like to jump straight into the examples, but that's not going to make as much sense as to what is going on inside the game until we actually look at what these different gravity modes are. So basically, every gravity zone will work on players and uh, random pick upable objects. Basically, anything that has a rigid body on it. It doesn't have to be pick upable, it does have to have a rigid body. So when we actually click on this, world down would be kind of your normal gravity. Zone local direction is basically where you set this local gravity direction. So if you look at our X, Y, and Z here, this is what this is. X is red, Y is green, Z is blue. We're going to be pushing our gravity in the Y1, which means positive, so upwards. So this is going to basically turn our gravity straight up. And then if we look at this example here, we're going to go to the Z positive direction. So this is going to turn gravity from up to down to left to right. So we're going to be going in this direction. Then on our final cube over here, we have it pushing both in the X positive and the Y positive. So basically it's going to be pushing us this direction, up and out. So that's the behavior we can expect from these. And then in our, well, the direction transform is pretty self-explanatory. You put something like a game point down, and it will pull you in the direction of that game object from where you're currently at. Okay, point attractor is when you set a point, and once you're in the zone, it attracts you towards that location, kind of like our black hole asset, if you've seen that video. We have our point repulsor, which does the exact opposite. It pushes you away from a point inside a zone. And then we have, of course, zero gravity. So that's quite a bit to look at. Let's go ahead and hit play and just kind of go through that. The other things are going to be way more self-explanatory. This is more like zones and fields to set up in a world for whatever reason. So if you remember correctly, the first thing we were going to look at is our gravity fields. So this one is immediately sucking us up. That one pushed us over. And this one should shoot us exactly back to where we started. So that's kind of how that works. One more time. Let's just face this way. And again, my hands are off the keyboard here for the most part. I'm just trying to, actually, there it wasn't. I was trying to fix a little bit of sway here. Let's just jump in. And it is shooting us around. So you can see it does preserve velocity. That is under this gravity blend time and mostly just the blending the gravity. It's going to not instantly snap you out of it when you are leaving one zone and into another. It's going to kind of take a second to take effect, but you can always change that blend time to a less, and then it will not have that particular issue. Although I don't know if you can actually change it and it'll have take effect in runtime. Maybe. Looks like it does. You can see that was a little cleaner. We overshot it though, so our gravity cube should probably come out some more. But that is essentially how those three work right there, the local directional ones. I believe next up was our point attractor. So you can see it is sucking us towards a point. If this cube were bigger, you would see it probably not whiplash us as much. But it is basically kind of just keeping us, continuously pulling us towards the center of this cube, if you can tell. It's kind of like just like our black hole object a little bit. Then if we kind of work on steering ourselves, because we can get a little trapped in there, we'll work on going over here. You can see as I try to go in, it pushes me out. And if I kind of force myself all the way through a little bit, it pushes me through to the other side. So that is kind of how this one works. Alright, next up is our zero gravity. So this one is best demonstrated by walking in, so we still have friction because our feet are on the floor, and then kind of jumping up into a direction. And as you can see, we just float away until we exit our cube and gravity is restored. So that's kind of how that works. And even if we kind of like run and jump, you can see we just kind of float across it and out. Okay, now let's take a look at our maybe more interesting, like flashy demonstration objects. So these are just basic cubes with rigid bodies. There's nothing fancy about them. But if we actually look at our cannon here, it comes with, well, 3 states. Off, which it's currently in, on, suction, and then repulse. So let's turn it on. As you can see, we are sucking up objects. And there's actually like a cone of influence for this. Then if we fire it, change to repulse mode, it launches it, stays in repulse mode, and as you can see, it's actually like a little like leaf blower type thing when it's in repulsor mode. Let's see if we can get a better angle of demonstration here. Put it in, maybe this will help. Suck. Fire. Alright, so that was pretty cool. That's kind of how this works, and like I said, now it's on repulsor mode, so you can see we just kind of like blow things around. And of course, all of this is network synced and all that good stuff. And our repulsor and gravity cannon does indeed work on players. It doesn't work as well on players as it does objects, so keep that in mind. It's not a 1-for-1, but it does work on players. Same thing with our repulsor gun here. And so we got a really bad pickup angle on that, so we can get a better angle. Here we go. All right, so when we shoot this, it's going to launch a wave that will go forward, and anything that comes in contact with it launches a little bit. Now, obviously, all these values for how much they disturb things are configurable, so you can have this really launch thing, or maybe it doesn't do that at all. But yeah, totally up to you. The guns come with your sound effects, and they're really cool and fun to play with. As you can see, our objects do indeed work in the triggers. And it's just a fun little prop for any world. And of course, you could also do some games and stuff centered around these fields and gravity stuff if you wanted to. It's meant to be modular and dynamic. You don't have to use the guns or the fields, or you can use all of the above. It's totally up to you, and aiming is so hard on desktop. Not like because of that, it's just everything works a little bit better in VR. Please keep that in mind. Alright guys, well that is it for our Gravity Field System version 1. If you have any good additional ideas or changes for the system, do not hesitate to let me know in Discord. I do generally try to make changes people suggest if I also agree that it's a good idea. And yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Catch you in the next one.